welcome to Layback with Betfair. Joined by the A-team, we're back.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Layback with Betfair. We've got racing all over the country this week. We're going to preview programs at Ipswich, Randwick and Flemington as well. The A-team is back together. My name's Nick Foote. Joining me is Tom Haylock, Reece Goodwin, the Prince of Pakenham. G'day, fellas.
G'day, mates. G'day. How are you, mate?
Hey, Tom.
You good?
Yep, going well.
Good to be back. Probably, and I say this, there's winners in every race, but not a great race meeting Saturday. Across the country, it's probably the worst for the year, I'd say.
Yeah, well, when we go through the South Australian Carnival Group 1 racing, we can sort of turn our attention to Queensland, have some good group racing. I think we're headlined by the listed Ipswich Cup this week. But every race has a winner, Tom.
And the average cups. Tassiara next week, so back to Group 1 racing next week. But this is just the fill-in between the two good races.
You did march into the studio saying, geez, I'm confident about Randwick this week. So
I didn't say that, but there's a winner in every race,
Yeah.
and there's a bit of value to be found. So I found it a hard day to staple a couple of shorties and be really confident. So I'm just looking for a bit of value. You always look for value.
Always, yeah.
You're on fire. I think you're still the number one tipster on the Betfair hub at the moment in terms of
I thought
profit
I
on
lost my
turnover.
podium, but looks like I'm still going strong.
And you've got plenty in the lay streak fund.
Yep,
846 or
That
something.
lobbed again.
Yeah,
7 or 8 in a row.
I think all three of us, we laid Scarlet Oak and she
Still running.
threw it out the back.
Yeah, I didn't send one in last week on my week off, but you're boasting close to $1,000 in your Lay Street kitty at the moment, Reece. But we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. We've got to obviously get stuck into the lay bin first, brother of the Lay Streak. And Tommy, you always like to open the bowling here. I know Reece is wearing a cricket whites today.
You should be opening the bowling.
He
Pardon
should
the
be.
pun.
But Tommy, what do you got for us?
Well, it rears its head every year, and usually Melbourne Cup week. But a fellow WSP that can't actually have 24 horses or more than 24 horses in fields. Now, we've got Royal Ascot on at the moment. They couldn't bet on the first race because there was over 24 runners. So I think they only fielded prices for 3 of the 7 race card last night at Ascot as we filmed this
Did
Thursday
I see they were
morning.
2-year-olds as well?
Yep.
I saw
There's
one
a
of the
big-
fields was a
big
massive
field.
2-year-old field.
And they're not betting in it. Hopefully Gil McLaughlin can maybe sort that lot out over there. How do you not have emergencies in the Melbourne Cup, but how do you not bet on races with over 24 runners because it's what year are we in?
What would the the turnover to not having that?
It'd be a lot.
They're obviously not too worried about it though.
No, obviously it wouldn't happen too often, but Royal Ascot's one of those, and Melbourne Cup, if we could get some emergencies, might be nice. Thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah, no,
right?
very. I wasn't aware of that situation. I haven't really been burning the midnight oil
Why,
through
this
Royal
is-
Ascot.
this
So
is
I
Sounds
haven't.
like he was having a meltdown that he couldn't get a bet on though.
No, that's why you bet on Betfair, mate. No issues on Betfair.
Well,
but-
the liquidity's just through the roof, isn't it?
Yeah,
Betfair?
we'll touch on that in
Yeah,
a bit later. But yeah, it's a good place to bet.
I've got a bit more of a serious lay-in than you.
I'm reading it doesn't sound serious, but
No, I'm laying Qlty. So
Super serious.
frozen yogurt sells away in Noosa last week. Beautiful spot. And as you like to do when you walk Hastings Street, is grab a little dessert. And when you pop your head into Qlty, frozen yogurt, look, you go to Subway, for example, and you've got your sandwich artist, and they're the artists, they're the professional, they put it together. But at these self-serve frozen yogurts, you put it together, and the price of your dessert is based on weight.
yeah,
And that's an issue when you don't have a good eye for how much things might weigh or what's a good portion, how's your control going. So when you get to the counter and your Qlty's worth $17, which is the
it's a real
price
stitch-up,
of
isn't
a main meal, you've got to be looking at a new system. Why can't we just have a size of the cup, however many sides that you want to choose in? I know you might have the healthy options like your choc chips and the
M&Ms
gummy
go
bears and the
expensive,
M&Ms,
mate. They-
all
M&Ms.
those things. But just get in the bin.
got a bit of-
Weighing weight. It's not fruit and veg. It's
Well,
frozen yogurt.
It's the same with fruit and veg. You buy a bigger banana, it's going to cost you,
What I'm
mate.
saying, it's not fruit and veg. It's
It's
frozen
got a bit
yogurt
of the
in
lolly
a cup.
station.
Yes,
as well
that's
at
what it is.
Melbourne too. I used to get sucked into that.
Yeah.
You would have eaten a kilo before you took
Yeah.
yours to the counter, though.
Well,
It's like
the
you go
boy
to the
from
deli
Tynong.
section, you
Now-
ask for ham.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so we're
pretty common, mate.
Comparing it to fruit and veggie and ham. That's all right. If it's in that same bucket, I'll
Did
just
you-
have to wear that.
Did I see you catch up with Miles Fitzner up there?
The great man, Miles
Is that
Fitzner.
right?
He was following me everywhere I went. He was staying in the same accommodation
No,
as me.
no, he
He
wasn't.
was everywhere. Yep, he was all over it.
It was on his Instagram, I think. You
Yeah,
two
he
caught up.
was. He was. Asking for autographs and everything. Yeah.
Winners? Was he asking for winners?
No, he gave me one though, but I forgot to get on. There you go. Yeah, he did. Oh no, only 5 tops. So there you go. Let's get stuck into Ipswich card, boys. We're going to turn our attention to Ipswich, which is a funny little
I'm not
track.
going to throw my...
Oh, do you have a label?
Throw the email?
Do you have a label for us?
Are we going to go with it?
I think we should.
What did you throw it under? Needy owners?
Needy owners or connections, in stables.
Connections.
Do you experience a bit of that being a trainer? Like, I speak to a good mate of mine, Mitch Beer, and he said there's nothing more frustrating when owners or connections try and tell you how the horse is going, where to place the horse, all those sorts of things. Do you experience any of that?
Look, that is frustrating when they try to get involved too much. But I must say, something that I really try to do is if an owner contacts me directly one-on-one, I try to give them the time. Because I feel like that's something that I might have over some other trainers that, you know, the big boys, they're obviously not going to speak to all their owners one-on-one. So I do try to do that. But obviously when they try to get involved and tell you how the horse is going and what we should be doing in this and that can get a bit irritating. But everyone's entitled to their opinion. But yeah, no, Tom's got a filly with me. Him and his dad are in her, and she seems to go quite well. She debuted at Caulfield last prep, ran really well behind Amina, and she just had a jump
Just
out
keep
during
it
the
quiet.
week. Yeah, we're trying to keep it.
You don't have to
quiet.
name the horse.
Lovely cuts to name.
He's not bad, is he? Anyway, yeah, she had a jump out Tuesday morning. She went really well, I thought, and sent out the audio and the replay afterwards. And Tom's dad, David, sent the email back saying, "Good to see she's going okay." And I was a bit deflated by that. He only thought she was going okay, but he might not have meant it that way. He obviously was just happy that she was going well, but I was hoping for a good or a great or something like that. But I just got an okay.
He is the father of trial files.
I was going to say,
so just put a lid on it. He knows.
He obviously knew
it's
those
genetics trials.
Those uphill grass tracks down the back straight at Packham, they're a bit hard to get a guide on, so he wasn't too sold on it.
No,
Yeah,
he can
it
judge,
filmed
he's a
on
good judge of
someone's-
talent, my old man.
Filmed
Don't
on
worry
someone's
about
toaster phone, no doubt. The
that.
jump
He
out.
started asking about, he's a scientist, so he started asking about weight and
Height,
Really?
is she
height,
still
how
growing?
many hands.
How
is
many
she-
hands?
I wish
How many
I-
hands is she?
I wish I could have all the answers for him. I
Yeah.
didn't. I didn't know what to say. I felt like an idiot. He's asking his trainer all these questions that I had no answers for him. Just made some up though.
Yeah.
He believed me.
Very good.
He is our watcher of this show, so
Shout out to David.
Is this the first time the lay in?
yeah.
Well, Reece putting Tom's dad in the lay bin wasn't something I had on my lay bin bingo card heading into today, but good addition, boys. And second go at getting to Ipswich now, which is a funny little track, Ipswich. We preview it every year here on Layback, don't we? We always talk about it because we have this little, it's a conduit between the Tats Tiara next week, so we keep the momentum rolling. And what can we expect the track to play like, Tom? I noticed the rails in 0.5.
They love a half.
They love a half, mate.
Half
rail up
unit.
there, don't they?
Yeah, right. I think we're back on a good surface, I think, with the drying weather around, which is good. And I think we'll see a few form reversals. And I've banked on a bit of that. We've come from a few meetings at Eagle Farm where it's a pretty tired track at the moment. Had a lot of racing there. To a better surface in Ipswich on a good track. It is a really tight track. 300 metres straight isn't too bad. So people kind of think because it's such a tight track, the straight is not as big. But you see in the last 50 metres at Ipswich a fair bit that horses fly. And can make up a bit of ground.
I think horses that can save ground cornering. It's a long
that's
sweeping bend.
momentum's key
If
around.
you have to be
corner
taking
two.
off 4 and 5 wide, you're covering more ground than what you're actually gaining. If you can save a few lengths, and then obviously you have got a 300 metre run in to make some ground then.
And you do see horses can be pretty unlucky with a tight turn and inside barriers. There's a favourite later in the card where it has drawn one and it looks like a massive concern. So we'll touch on that.
It's not going to want to be buried back on the fence, is what you guys are saying.
Definitely.
At all. A bit of a momentum track.
But
in
if you get the
Ipswich.
run, it does help. So,
Yeah, 100%. Let's kick off in race 6. We're going to preview the quaddie legs for Ipswich, and it's the L Cooney. It's for the 3-year-olds. Set weights 13.50. Chairman won the race last year for Tony Golan at $14.40 BSP. Speed looks solid enough in this race. Golden Decade, the clear leader. Weagle Tiger and Sofrado from the deep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Weagle Tiger makes a bit of a play from out wide. Might take up the lead. Golden Decade draws perfectly, so if it does get taken on, it will just sit behind and get that nice run. I don't like Hedge as a horse. I was pretty keen to take it on last start. I think you agreed that the stable runners have a bit of a boom on them, and they are often quite short. And I thought he was good there. I like what he did. Trying to get him beat here again. I can make a case for Miss Aria. It's not a race I'm too keen on, but Miss Aria ties in through Inhibitions, and Inhibitions beat home Hedge last start, and Miss Aria ran third behind Inhibitions, beaten 0.3 a few starts ago. She's flying, this filly. I can make a case, and she's drawn wide, but I think she'll get clear running and momentum, and if she can blend into the race from there, I think she can give this race a shake. So if I'm playing, it will be on number 8, Miss Aria.
Reece, do you have to be forgiving of the last start of Hedge? Sort of had to be restrained, settled back after over racing early. Do you think that might be just perhaps more positive here with Hedge?
Look, forgiving in a way, but what I was a little bit disappointed in was the horse that made the run with her was still strong. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there you go. Inhibitions was stronger on the line. But in saying that, Hedge is probably back a tick here in grade too, so she might still marry up well in this. My concern is where she's going to get to from the run again. It's probably going to be back from 8. If they do decide to go forward, that might be her best opportunity. But I'm not ballsy enough to be laying her, but I'm certainly keen to be in the corner of Golden Decade. He was rock solid, and he's going to get, as Tom mentioned, he's going to get a plum run from gate 1. If he's not leading, he's going to be right behind the leaders, and it should afford him every opportunity. I guess the only way he's going to miss a top 3 is if he gets behind the speed somehow and they fall in his face and he can't get out for some reason, because I think his form line just really ties in well for this race. And if he's sort of $6-7 and you're getting even money at least at place, I don't think you can go wrong going each way on him. So he's my play. Not with Hedge, but I'm certainly not keen to lay her either.
Yeah, I'm much of the same opinion with you around Hedge. I'm keen to take him on, and Golden Decade I think is a great way to go about that. If you look back through the Fred Best, under a length behind Steffi Magnetica through the line, giving her 2 kilos in that race.
Seems okay now.
Sole leader, draws barrier 1. Group 1 Ryan Maloney in the saddle.
Pug Maloney.
Yeah, it looks a pretty good recipe, I think, Golden Decade in race number 6.
Makes sense as well, because it's got that Inhibitions victory at Eagle Farm first up, and Weagle Tiger was in third there. So the form line intertwine, and you're getting a good price, so I can see why you're keen on him.
Let's head to race number 7 now, boys. It's the feature. It's the feature of the weekend. It's the listed Ipswich Cup 2150. Regal Lion won the race last year for Annabelle Neesham. Ben Thompson was in the saddle, paid $28.16 BSP, if you don't mind. Tommy, you're going to be diving in again.
One of the worst listers races I've ever seen.
Love to have a run around.
There's 2 wins from the last 70 starts between them.
It's that bad you've had to dig deep down to find how bad it is.
That's good stats.
He knew it was that bad. He went looking for stats.
And there's a lot of zeros in amongst that.
That's the best bad stat I've heard.
A lot of zeros. Well, Regal Lion got beaten 13 lengths, and it's $5 here.
Yeah, because it won last year.
I know. Well, that's
probably had similar form leading in. If it was 28 to 1.
It did. But it's coming off a 13 length defeat, and it's now $5 here. He was the horse I actually went looking for, because I really like him back onto a good track. He's just a dry tracker. He won this race last year. Similar profile. I've got him on top, but I was hoping you'd get $10, not $5, and it just shows you how bad this race is. Zoomon could lead and just be nothing chasing Zoomon, so could just end up winning out of default. No idea. Desert Icon ran second in the race last year. Luncey Zoomon Desert Icon through that Mayor's Cup last start as well. So I can make a case for Luncey's. No, thanks.
Yeah, look, I can't believe I'm siding with Luncey's at this price. I feel a bit sick, to be honest. But I couldn't find anything else. They're all out of form, apart from him, in my opinion, really, except for the ones down the bottom that are, I guess, a rough hope. You know, a couple of them are racing well and are down in the weights if they get the right runs. But look, he's deserved of having 60 kilos. I think...
Surely you got a horse that could enter this race?
I could pull Never Again out of the paddock.
Correct. You did go close.
He would beat some of these, absolutely. I think it could be... I think he's done well, Luncey's, to get as close as he has over 16 and 1800. I think he's definitely probably a better 2400 metre horse, and he doesn't even get that here, but I think he's going to get a plum run. Ryan Maloney will park him just behind the speed. Don't really want to be hurdling into $3.70. It'd be interested to see what he gets to on the day. I think he's also better suited on top of the ground. But yeah, look, I'm going to tip him. Will I back him on the day? Maybe not, but I think he's the best winning chance in the race.
Yeah, I couldn't back him with your money. I'm going to lay him. I think just gives plenty of his rivals here weight. Never seen the track before. Has never won or even placed from 6th, 3rd up attempts. So there's a lot there where I'm just putting crosses next to Luncey's name. But Tom, you make a really good point that someone's got to win the race as well because...
Is there a chance that none of them do?
What was the stats? How many? Two
2 wins from the last 70.
There you
There's
go.
14 runners in the field, and I went through the last 5 starts for every runner. So
I'm looking for one to back. It's extraordinary I'm having a back and lay play in this race after we've just potted it for 5 minutes.
This is big for
It is
you.
big, but I'm going to back number 14 Brookhaven down in the rate weights, which is sort of the angle that you mentioned there, going consistently. Met Luncey's Nick Spur 2 back at Doomben. That was over a mile and rain affected going before going on to run second to Princess Rainus in a fastly run race at Eagle Farm. That was in benchmark company. He's just much better on top of the ground. Gets in very well at the weights and just has a sweet map. So I'm going to play number 14 Brookhaven, and I'm going to lay number 1 Luncey's in the Ipswich Cup, boys.
hopefully you join the Hamburger Club.
Yeah, I'll be eating one either way after that with tears in my eyes or happiness. Let's go to race number 8. It's the listed eyeliner stakes over 13.50. Lady of Honour won this race last year for the Hayes team. BSP'd $5.50. There's great speed in this race here, Tommy. How are you assessing it?
Yeah, there is. Jigsaw out wide, Military Expert, Fancify, Petronius up there also from good barrier. Petronius up in distance could lead these, but draws well enough to settle handy. This is the runner that we talked about the barrier. So Waterhouse is a favourite here and a firm favourite, the obvious with the form lines, but I think he could be 3 or 4 back to fence here from barrier 1, and if he doesn't get that run, he's going to be strung up and looking for luck at the right time, Waterhouse. So he brings obviously the right form line race. He ran second to Yellow Brick, beaten 0.6 last time. Does have ability, but I was more against him at the price from the barrier. I think I'm going to have something on Petronius here, number 4. Been playing in his last few, but back onto a dry track I think is key to him, and he's been at that Eagle Farm kind of tired track, as we said. So I'm banking on the fact that this track and this surface on a good, hopefully the weather dries this track out, he can improve significantly. We know his best is good enough. He's a huge price here. He ran second behind King of Sparta in the Magic Million Sprint. He was a listed winner prior to that. I think his record on good tracks is fantastic, and his record at the distance is fantastic. So, at a big price, I'm having something Petronius and pretty bullish.
Beautiful. Waterhouse, I again, very similar to Luncey's. I just went through the race, and he just stood out to me.
He does.
Again,
yeah.
I'm not too keen on the $2.30. The draw probably is the worry.
It's not just the draw; it's the draw back in distance as well. So whether it's sharp enough to settle.
I challenge that because you look at his last 2 starts, where his last 2 starts, if you based him solely on those, just rates so far clear of this field.
He does. Yep.
And if you watch how he begins in his last 2 starts, he jumps fast. He jumps really cleanly. It's not like he's been slow away and had to muster and look for runs. He can use that barrier. Damien Thornton can use that gate speed to jump and settle a bit more handy here. Yes, the map has it. Maybe 3-4 back on the fence, but I think you can be positive with a fit horse back in trip.
There's also a lot of speed in the race. If it was less pressure from out wide, you'd say, But
I actually, apart from the 1,500 back in trip, I worry about a little bit only because the back in trip, but I think the horse is better at that distance. I think he's got a better record at 1,200, 1,300, 1,350 here, but around a tight track from a low draw, no weight. As long as Damien can get it right the first half, and not overdo it holding a spot. That's what I would worry about if they're too cautious about it and they just drive him mad and get him out of his comfort zone. At the end of the day, if he's the best horse, you try and utilise it a little bit and then you let the best horse be the best horse. And if you don't get your luck, this is easy for me to say, but I feel like you don't get the luck. Simple as that. You can't jump over him. You can't go through the inside running rails. So not keen on the price, considering he's drawn 1 and it could look a bit tricky, but happy to be with him. I thought he had to be a clear pick.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think he's just really relished this Queensland preparation too. Like as I mentioned, those last 2 ratings at Doomben 2 back, and then second to Yellow Brick in the listed Spear Chief, they read pretty well for a listed race at Ipswich of this nature. So I'm going to be with Waterhouse as well, boys.
Just quickly, Blazer Trail has a really good first up record. He's got a second to Antino in a Class 6 at Eagle Farm last prep. Is he someone we've got to keep an eye on at double figures? Would you shock to see him win first up?
My note here says wary.
Yeah.
He's got the ability to win. Blinkers off trial was only fair. I went looking for Blazer Trail because of that ability, and he's been off the scene for a while. I just want to see more from
He
the trial.
seems to always bowl up at the back end of this carnival. I think his horses.
Yeah.
I've seen him. I've seen him win at Mildura. I've seen him travel to Rockhands, and he's obviously a very laid-back customer, and they know where to pick and choose. Obviously, with his older age, so it'd be interesting how he goes.
That's
I'm pretty
stable.
sure.
Just
I think I tipped him in this race last year at Ipswich.
Did he just go down or did he win?
He ran third, I
Right,
think.
okay,
Yeah.
Jake Bayless rode him, I reckon. From
Yeah.
memory.
Yep.
There you
Spot on. This is some real Rain Man sort of areas here. Rain Man Goodwin just
I think I might
leading
have sent him a message after it saying, "What were you doing?"
leading the way.
That's right.
I jumped off after that. He went on to win his next two before being
Oh,
tipped
that'll
out.
make
So
sense.
that's all good. I don't hold grudges though. Thanks. Let's look at race 9 now, boys. It's the listed Gay Waterhouse Classic for the fillies and mares, 1,200 metres. Chassis won the race last year for the Mar Eustace team, $9 BSP, which is 12.5% better than Tote price. I've been trying to insert some of those in there because I know Tommy really appreciates that.
I do love that.
The Baron of Betfair loves those stats. I don't think Gay's got a runner in her race again this year.
No.
You think she'd have plenty of horses to choose from?
She's got plenty.
If you got the Reece Goodwin benchmark 58 at Wangaratta, you'd be sending a horse there to win it, wouldn't you?
There'd be 8.
I would have thought it was a benchmark 52.
There'd be 8 of your horses.
Yeah, I'd have my whole stable in it. That's where that's the only place I'd get a run.
Sprinters and stayers.
Couple of trials.
Capo Strata carrying 84 kilos.
There's a chance I still don't win it.
Tommy, what do you make of the Gay Waterhouse Classic?
Yeah, good speed. Fitting for the Gay Waterhouse Classic.
Yeah.
Physique,
Good call.
Party for Two, Typhoon Tabby, Black on Beauty, pressure from plenty of others. It is an incredibly open race. I hope you're winning come this race because it is tough. But that said, I'm pretty confident here in number 16, Qlty. Back on her firmer deck today, I think that's the key to this. She was a bit plain last start. I expected more. She trialled superbly prior to that, and she's since run trialled well. But you go back to 2 starts ago, I think it was, end of last campaign, she had a SP advantage over Tashi, who was really firm in the market here before being scratched. So I see she ties into the market clearly based on her SP profile. I don't love Ipswich for her because she's probably going to get back from that barrier and the map is tricky. So that's the little query, but I'm convinced she has the talent to win this. I loved her trials and she looks a bet at double figures for me. So she's already been 21s in her 11s, I think, throughout the week since acceptances. Obviously, Tashi came out, so there. But she's my play. 16, Qlty.
Qlty, nice little sort of $11, 350 with Corpse at the moment. Tommy, Reece, how are you attacking it?
I'm going to side with Wollombi, and look, I could probably just leave her alone and make her as a watch, but she's a filly that I think has some nice ability.
Her rating says she's right in this race.
The problem will be is 13. I'd say first run for Tony Golan. They won't be bustling her up. They'd just be hoping for a really good tempo and letting her find the line. But I see there's already a bit of market support since the market's open, so I'm wary of that. And I just don't want to be not on her in case she does bowl up. I know the ability's there, so she's going to be awkward from out there. I'd say they'll ride her quiet. If she can weave through and run a place, I'll be wrapped. But certainly want to follow her going forward. And I just noted, Footy, your girl's in here. You've been with her her last couple and you're jumping off, so I might have something on Grey River.
Yeah, well, yes, that tends to happen to me a little bit.
Hamburger
I see
won't
them
taste
that
too
well.
good.
I see them usually a couple of
Yeah,
starts
too
too
early,
early.
yeah.
Yeah, that's my general pattern. I am jumping off because I'm siding with number 13, Typhoon Tavi here, boys. 7-week let up with a nice trial in preparation for this. She has a career peak first up last year over 1,200. That was at Doomburn when she won by 5 lengths. So flies on that fresher side. 3 wins in a row, benchmark level leading into this. And one thing that all those wins have had in common is she's been able to win off setting a really fast tempo. So she's been able to bounce off that speed. She's got the Yulong colours on here, so I think they might be pretty desperate to get a mare like this, and perhaps the man you mentioned as well, these colour shifts, they'd be wanting to get some black type on their page. Absolutely. For these mares, and I think a race like this, with all respect to Gay Waterhouse, this is a pretty lowly listed type of mares race that you'll be able to add to your page, and I think Typhoon Tavi has the right platform to be able to do that in the 9th at Ipswich. Yeah, cheers, boys. Thanks. Appreciate it. Time for what caught my eye this week, and geez, it'd be remiss of us for a racing show on Thursday if we didn't make mention of Asfoora's win in the King Charles III Stakes a couple of nights ago overseas there, obviously at Royal Ascot, and it was a sense of pride to be an Australian, wasn't it? And I felt like it was one back on us because, Tommy, you constantly sit here on this show and bang on about how their stayers or those middle distance come here and their B graders beat up on us.
Except
Well,
for
we've
Lon.
kind of got one back on them here because it isn't.
Do you hear that?
It isn't Nature Stripe. It's,
No.
it's the likes of Asfoora, who's, let's be respectful, is a second stringer here in Australia and has
Fringe
gone
group
over
one.
and
Fringe group
gone
one.
over
Was
and
she
beaten up.
in saying that, had she been a touch unlucky not to maybe have won a Group 1? There was a number of times she was...
Yeah, but
It's
they're
hard to
weak.
say.
They're fringe group ones. She's been running it too.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Given
Fair
the depth, I think, yeah. It's a
So
fair
we don't
call.
think she's Group 1 quality here in Australia?
She's Group 1, but will she win one? I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's enough weak, especially retirements in Australia. There's been a lot of good sprinters
I
retired.
just thought it was a
so-
bit harsh to say that she was our second tier.
I think she's second
Sprinters,
tier.
'cause I
Has
think
she won
so.
a Group 1?
No.
Or she's our second tier?
Okay, right. No problem.
There's enough group ones for her to win. Too.
Yeah.
Superb win. And I was surprised the market came for her on Betfair. She was $6.40 Betfair starting price. It was good money late. We saw that with Nature Stripe as well. The money came for him. $6.40 BSP. Betfair is the place to bet, especially on Australian horses in Royal Ascot because it's a world pool.
And they bet on every race.
Salient point you make there, Reece. Yes, there's huge liquidity on Betfair. It really showcases the strength of the exchange. And when there is money for horses like Asfoora, you can take notice because it does take a strong weight of money to move horses. And brilliant win. Good to see. As you mentioned, it's why I rate when everyone says who's the best horse in Australia, I tend to say the sprinters because the sprinters are better than the rest of the world sprinters.
Well, we're bred to sprint here, aren't
Correct.
we? I think we also need to just give enormous kudos to Henry Dwyer. So
Absolutely.
when you look at...
Anyone seen him since?
I think he's
Saw a
still with
photo of
the king. When you look at the prize money in comparison to some of our sprint races, like it's a £650,000 pound race over there.
Yep.
So that's equivalent, I guess, to about 1.2 mil Australian in terms of
Dunno.
sprint race. For the operation and the logistics of taking a horse to the other side of the world, getting it right, being able to step up and win that
massive.
race,
She's not a
it's
straightforward
huge.
filly either.
I
Which is the
wonder.
other part. They would have been stewing over. She's just not a straightforward filly. They've said that. She can be
Yeah.
quite antsy and hard to deal with. So even if you're taking a relaxed gelding like Nature Stripe, it'd be hard, But to take a mare like her that's a little bit finicky and not easy to deal with, it'd be massive.
And
I wonder
you-
if they pay for her to go over or
I think I
subsidise some of it.
heard Henry say Royal Ascot contributed a
Subsidised,
little
yeah.
bit, but it certainly cost the owners. If they weren't winning or running well, it was going to be costing them a little bit. Just
had the time of their life, irrespective. I'm
yeah,
sure.
correct. Quick
Reece?
question on: Do you have an opinion on
Stop
why you think there was so much money for her late?
Oh, I think the Australians have got they won 7 of those races.
Why
Six.
has the money come late? Like obviously that she was running.
Oh, no one wants to
She
give away
parade
their
well,
edge.
or is
Oh,
that- do
there would have
they look
been,
at those
there would have
things
been,
over
yeah,
there?
the big syndicates look at the parade, obviously. And
She
they
might have
just
been a
say,
bit
"Here."
big first up.
100%.
She raced like and then she tightened right up.
But if the big players have her rated $4 or $5 or $6, probably rated her close to what she started at $6.40, I would have thought, and they bet late because they don't want to give away their edge.
Yeah.
So if that move came 10 minutes out, she might be going around at $5.
Yeah.
And you get unders, but because everyone else follows the money, so they try not to give their edge away late.
I love the courage, though, to take a horse. Like, Reece won't even take a horse to Warrnambool from Pakenham. So
Funny you say that. I've got one in Sunday.
yeah, there you go.
Can I ask Reece this question though? That would
Please.
You can.
Thank you. That would mean, like, obviously not huge prize money comparatively to Australia, but what that does for his stable ownership puts him on a
Should be massive.
Good call.
puts him on. Is that something you'd
I'm
consider as a trainer? Like,
Yeah.
because now he's on a pedestal. He's won a race at Royal Ascot. Owners want to be there and get involved and
Well, I
potentially travel with him.
heard the interview afterwards, and you hear the names that he's now alongside of Australian trainers: Lee
Moody,
Freeman,
yeah.
Moody, Chris
Voila.
Waller, and who had Swashia? I don't know. I actually don't know that. He was a little bit before my time, but they reeled out the names. Now Henry Dwyer in there. It almost, no disrespect to Henry at all, but almost was a bit of a shock. You go through all the others and then Henry, but yeah, completely take my hat off to him. It's a massive effort, and I'll be honest, I was one of...
Paul Perry.
There you go, Paul Perry. I was a little bit of not a knock that they went there, but I wasn't sure about her first up run there. I was a little bit disappointed, realistically. And then she's gone on to do what she did the other night. It was just amazing. Just a quick one again, Tommy, on it. Was it interesting that she started started outside, and then she ran down to the inside type of thing? Was there any track patterns on the day?
I haven't been following Ascot, but there often is down there. There's a couple of lanes,
Just
so she did end up
six
close.
that stayed out wide, and then as O'Sheen went for her, she got right down to the others, which were the ones that were ended up being in the finish as well.
Yep.
Speaking of track patterns, Tommy might know a little bit about is Royal Randwick, which is this weekend. Rail is in the 3 metre position. Tommy, what can we expect on the day? Because Sydney's been challenging. It's always challenging weather-wise, but in particular, the last couple of months, I've sort of found like I'm almost just doing it race day morning. Yeah,
well, it's a bit like that, isn't it? Showers forecast of the day, drying in the lead-up. So it'll be drying track, and then depends on what we get. I've done the form for a soft range, but you've always got to be flexible and adjust, as you said, pending the rain. Because even when you're expecting biased tracks and things don't pan out that way, or that things have changed, so it is tricky.
This is away from Sydney, but who expected Sandown to play how it did last Saturday?
Crazy. Crazy. Was it better yesterday? I didn't watch too many.
It was a little bit, definitely. There was a few that were actually much different. A number of races they were able to come from
the rail was
10 lanes off, but the rail still held up good late in the day.
The leaders in the last one,
L Cooney Princess was hard fence and ran second.
Okay. Let's kick off in race 7. It's a benchmark 78 handicap over 1,000. A few of the key market chances here are first up. I know you like one first up as well. You got the likes of Dipsy Doodle, who's your $2.70 favourite. Get Along, who's a $7 shot as well. But you're going for a little bit of value here, Tommy.
I am. Dipsy Doodle, I've got a lot of time for this horse, but I was pretty disappointed in 2 runs last campaign. Third first up and then dropped off. I went looking to get this horse beaten, and it pains me to say that because she's kind of one of mine. Obviously, J-Mac, Godolphin, J-Mac on board, the J-Mac tax. So very short in betting. If you can get Dipsy Doodle beaten, there's plenty of value. And that's
How's the trial, Dipsy Doodle?
Yeah, good.
Yep.
She hasn't had a long time off either, so she had a bit of residual fitness. She trialled.
So what are the negatives?
She trialled really well before last campaign too, and didn't exactly set the world on fire. So you say that you're getting a lot of ticks, but I just thought she was short enough. I love the trial of Alicia Roma, and she's done nothing but drift since market open, which is interesting. She was playing in her first campaign for the Snowdens. This is her second campaign for Team Snowden, and they've produced a lot of decent horses. I think they're about to turn the tide on their recent performance, and they started to produce a lot of good trialers and a few winners of late as well. So she wasn't beaten far in a listed race when we last saw her. Second campaign, as I said, for the Snowden camp. I think they've worked her out, and I think she can run really well here. So Barry's a little concerned, but I've got her the value in the race, and I'm keen to bet.
Yeah, she's got building a nice record. 13,
got a great record. Yeah,
13 career starts, 5 wins and 5 minor placings, and she's a nice price there, Alicia Roma, for Tommy in the 7th. I'm not going to be having a bet in this race. Reece, shouldering arms, and your cricket whites.
Tommy, I think.
Just they haven't missed the market here on a couple of these, but last Wednesday Canterbury meeting, there's a couple of horses here. There's Jetterbill in the last as well that were
how'd that Canterbury track play?
Off fence. Yeah, it was good. So these 2 horses, Jetterbill won like winks off fence. It was an incredible win. But John Magic wasn't on the fence there, so you just mark up, and any horses coming from that meeting that weren't on the fence, give them a big tick.
Outstanding insight, Tommy.
Thank you.
We'll continue to follow you on X for more.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can always get him on X on track patterns in Sydney. What about the one bloke that always goes, Tom laying Sydney tracks again? Is it Chad?
Yeah, I think.
Chad, he always
We've got another listed
race. He can unfollow me if he wants.
We've got another listed race this weekend, which is race 8. It's the listed Civic Stakes.
It's a better race than anything
handicap. Yeah, it's a good race. 1,400 metres. Danny Beasley and Chris Lees combined to win the race last year with you. Qlty, who races here again. How are you?
Danny Beasley?
Yeah,
right.
How are you assessing it, Tommy?
The feature. So it's a pretty good race. I'm siding with Straight Acer here, but I found a bit of value as well. Again, Tamerlane, another Cummings, Godolphin, McDonald runner from Barrier 1. I thought he was a bit plain last start. He was capable of winning that for sure, and he definitely has the ability to win a race like this. He won second up. He's won second up his last 2 campaigns as well, and did so last campaign quite impressively. But I haven't got him on top. I've got him second. Straight Ace is the horse I've got on top. Now, this horse ran fourth in a Golden Eagle, second in a Silver Eagle. He ran fourth in a, what's that race at Rockhampton, the Archer, $775,000 race there. He ran second in a Midway Championship final, that $1 million race. He's got the ability to do something here. Drawn perfectly, comes off a Group 3 where we'll find this easier. He wasn't beaten overly far there. Blinkers go on, perfect map, ticks a lot of boxes. I'm with him. I think he can produce his best here, Straight Ace. And the value is a horse that trialled in behind Tamerlane recently in Substantial. He's my best roughie on the program there at Randwick. I've got him for third, but he's a nice price. I did like what he did late in that trial, taking ground off Tamerlane, who was fit. So, I like the jockey booking. McAvoy's going really well as well, so I think he can run a race first up at a big price. So, Tommy Two play Straight Ace and Substantial.
Yeah, I'm also with Straight Ace. I love the form of his last start. He reads beaten. He reads running 8th, but he wasn't beaten far. He was beaten 2.2, and he finished across the line with Yellow Brick, Valana, and the Inevitable.
Handy.
I think that ties in really well. He was pretty solid there, and you could argue he was closest to the fence and maybe not in the best part of the track. I would love it to be on the better side of soft. I think his best statistics are certainly on top of the ground. We're probably not going to get a good track, of course, but we not have any rain during the day, I'll be wrapped. If there is rain, I might be a bit cautious, but you're getting an each-way price on him. He's going to get a good run. Tim Clark's in form. I thought he brought the best form lines to this race, and I was happy with him each way.
I wanted to find Tamerlane. The first up run was just disappointing. It was no surprise. Got sent back to the trials. Did trial pretty well, but has come up still a bit short in the market.
J-Mac tax.
Yeah, again, it's we've got to watch on that, don't we?
His
Here
last
at Layback.
win-
You could not back a J-Mac horse on a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Three starts
The
ago.
corporates. They either firm on the day and they're a really good chance, or most of them drift.
3 starts ago, he beat a horse called Freedom Rally.
Yeah.
So his form ties in pretty good too, at his best, of course.
That horse is certainly elevated, though.
True,
Freedom Rally.
yeah.
I'm going a little bit of a different angle here. Certainly not selecting one with the class on their side, but I'm going to backing number 12, Diamond Diesel. He's a 7-year-old gelding, currently racing in career best form. Won a benchmark 78 this track and trip last start. That was carrying 59.5 kilos. Certainly has to step up in grade now, but drops 6.5 kilos off that run. Gets a race with some solid speed engaged and looks overs. And the market, certainly, the corporates have certainly got hold of that, and people have too, because I think has nearly halved in price in early betting into sort of $8 now. So Diamond Diesel is going to be my play, boys, in the listed Civic Stakes. We're going to take a look at races 9 and 10 just quickly as well. Tommy, up here in Sydney. I don't think you have a play in race.
No, I don't have a play in race 9.
But you've got a bit of an assessment. What is it? It's a benchmark 88 over 1200.
Again, a better race than anything at Ipswich this weekend. Fleetwood gets a start, has to be a major player now. Been very impressive this campaign. Back to 1200 metres, looks perfect third up. So don't mind the wide barrier for the stablemate Contemporary either. Big horse, big striding pattern, can get room out there. So I think Godolphin and Cummings have a strong hand. Jettabill's the race, the runner through that Canterbury meeting that was off fence. It was a superb win, bucking the trend of horses that were on rails in run that day. Just you get a guide through Dollar Magic in race 7. If Dollar Magic form stacks up and runs well race 7, you can give it an extra tick to Jettabill there. And I own a Merc, comes through the lead up and was good there, beat most of these and lost no admirers. So interesting. The other one is Sweet Margot May first up, International first up. So watch the market there, but no official play for me. Nothing?
No, nothing for me at all.
Let's take a look at race 10 quickly, mate, which I know you've got something in. It's a benchmark 78, 1400 metres to close out the day, and Tommy Haylock followers, you're going to send them home happy.
Am I? What have I got written down? No, I don't. Have I got a tip here? No, I put the tip in the wrong column.
I don't have. Yeah, I'm with you, Footy. You give me a hard time at the run sheet.
I'm following the run sheet.
If I don't fill it in, at least I'm not putting the wrong ones
correct. I put the wrong. But I can
Tommy
preview the race.
Haylock followers are not going home happy.
I'll
I recant my previous statement.
Do you want me to? I can give him
Come
a winner.
on, still find us a winner.
Starman. No short riddle on.
Don't even tell us why. Just back it.
Back him, back it.
Starman doesn't win very often, but I got him on top. He's placed in his last 3, the latest at this track and distance. So I've got Starman on top. LAU comes over from across the border, potentially. I think it's emergency at Flemington. So if he has got to be a chance. And Lord of Biscay, first up, former international in Australia, may need this, but a winnable race. So I'm focusing on those three. Nick?
Brilliant. Well, that close.
How was that recovery?
It was pretty good. Yeah, I didn't mind it. Just get onto that run sheet next time, boys. It's the Bible.
I'll fix that now.
Layback, appreciate it. Hey, guys, time for the lay streak, which Reece Goodwin is absolutely humming along in at the moment. $842.92 you've got in the kitty as your liability this week, Reece. What do you got?
We're going to go to Flemington, race 7, number 3, Randwick. He's drawn 17. He'll obviously come in if the emergencies don't get a run. He'll come in a bit, but this prep, I think he's just hit his mark. He was obviously an up-and-coming horse last prep. He won through his grades. I don't think he's too much better than 84 grade, which he finds here Saturday. And I think from that wide draw, he generally rolls forward. I don't know where he's going to park himself in. I'd be mindful. It wouldn't surprise me if the Hayes camp scratch. They're pretty good for scratching from wide draws. I don't like to run them for no reason. So he might not go around, but if he does, I think he's a massive risk. He's about $3. He's already drifted from about a 260 mark. La Ferrari, the stablemate, beat him comfortably at Sandown 2 starts ago, and you're getting about $9.50 for that horse. So it's also drawn off the track. That's not a tip, but I just couldn't have this horse that short, and he's already drifting in the market. So I'm happy to late Reinberg.
Brilliant. Tommy Haylock, your liability. You're just trucking along okay at the moment. You've had a return. You're $180 and 87 cents in there. What do you got?
Trucking.
You've got to build momentum in early stages.
You'll
stay
We need
from
to
a guy
look
that
up the
got up
definition of trucking.
From a guy that got up to around 3 or 4 grand. You just sort of go slowly, and then it starts really.
Yeah,
you are
it's-
3 back defence off the bridle.
like
You're that far from trucking. It's not funny.
It's like a multi. You win more when you have more liability, mate.
Whatever helps you sleep.
It's actually nothing like a multi, but go on.
Yeah, sure.
What's a late streak? I found it pretty hard to hone in on a couple that I want to be against. I think Hedged is too short, and I may lean the way with him.
What about
No,
Tipsy
that's-
Doodle? You like her too much though.
As
a horse.
she's a scary horse. I do.
Scary horse.
Yeah, mental health. I don't want to lay her.
That's fair
If
enough.
she wins,
Won't be on the show.
I'm going to the feature of the day, which is the listed Ipswich Cup, and I'm laying Luncy's. I don't think anyone wants to win the race. I hope Brookhaven does. They might actually run back. They might actually reverse out of the barriers in the Ipswich Cup.
You'd win a running race reverse.
Oh, would anyway.
Yeah.
Would have beat
That's what I say. You
I'd
would.
beat him on my knees.
Oh,
there
hey,
he
you
is.
run backwards for a living.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm going to be laying Luncy's to win at $4. Seems a pretty safe option, I would have thought, but I've thought there were safe options before that weren't in betting, and we know the great game. I've just mozzed myself.
Could win by default.
Luncy's wins by 6 lengths.
Could win by default.
Hey, let's go around and grab some best bets of the weekend as well, boys. Anything maybe out wide, even at Flemington, if you've looked there, Tommy?
Haven't had a look at Flemington yet. I like Alicia Roma at Randwick race 7, number 6. I probably the best betting plays straight ace from substantial race 8, number 4, and number 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Qlty in the last. That was the horse that you just deleted from the run sheet in the last at Ipswich.
Yeah, beautiful.
So a nice each way price there, Qlty.
I'll stick with Ipswich race 6, Golden Decade. If you can snap up your $2 even money the place, I think he's a great each way bet, and you should be pretty right from gate 1 from there.
Yep, I'm with you there, Reece. But I'm going to Flemington. My best bet is a double figure chance this weekend.
Hang on, let me open my account.
It's the last race at Flemington, race 9, up the Ididdle Diddle, 1,100 metres. I'm siding with number 10, Prince Zero, who is absolutely prime for this second up. Returned as a gelding. Last start was back $26 into $11 late and was beaten home only by Right to Party and Marble 9. Gets a significant weight swing on Marble 9 this week. Strips Vito drawn the best part of the straight. It is a 1x3 special, and I think he might be winning at around $12. So Prince Zero's my best, and just want to have a little play in race 5 as well at
keep
Flemington,
going.
another straight
Tell us
race.
more. This is a multi
it's
I'm doing
another
now.
1,100 metre race. Who dares? Mike Whitney, Tanya Zayeda is in terrific form
Mike Whitney,
at
what
the
a pretty
moment.
That was so smooth off the tongue. You
Yeah.
rehearsed that.
Kept fresh, 5 weeks between runs. Obviously a proven straight track performer. Beat home Nicolini Vito last start, who's franked that form at 2 runs, winning in town and then running second. So I want to be backing Who Dares, even with the rise in weight. There's another runner in that field. Just want to have something on in the same race. And that
The
is
gift that keeps giving.
well, it's the same race. It's Inundation, who I know has had issues.
Oh,
They've
I've
put up
been inundated with tips here.
$23 they've put up for Inundation.
Ooh.
if it doesn't
There you
drink
go.
milk, I'll give it away.
Well,
Far out.
I'm
I've
wa-
literally heard it meow from its box.
clip that up, has.
If this wins,
And
this
well,
is
you
gonna
can
be-
call me a sucker. I'm backing who dares my major, but I'm not going to lose on Inundation because throat surgery, had a throat issue, tipped out for some 9 months. First up was $4 out to 7.
Shouldn't they not
Had
have
some
done a heart
excuses in the
surgery on it?
vets. This camp isn't bringing a horse back that's not sound. So Inundation at $23, mate, has the track record at Moonee Valley. $23
I've got
in this
the track-
race.
I've got the track record of the 100 metres at Seymour.
Oh God,
Seymour Athletics.
I've never wanted something to win more in my life, or even just run top 3.
I love this.
Inundation,
This is good.
$23. I'm going to walk out here angry.
It might not finish.
You would scream to have an Inundation in your stable, Reece.
You should
Yeah,
buy
I
it.
won't disagree with that.
You should buy it.
You would
I won't disagree with that.
sell body parts to have Inundation.
I'd probably
in
get it going.
Oh, yeah,
That's too far.
I think
take
that's
that back.
all
I
we've got
take that
time
back.
for here, listeners.
Just before we go, cashback second markets on Randwick, Flemington, Ipswich, Belmont, and Morphettville this Saturday on
Look out.
Betfair. So cashback second.
So if I back Inundation at $23 and it runs
You
second,
get your cash
Get
back.
my cash back.
And it's not a promo. It's none of that. You actually get your cash back.
Love it.
Good markets there on the exchange, mate.
Terrific stuff. Reece, any runners apart from the one at the Warrnambool in a couple of days?
Yeah, I won't. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I got Donald Saturday and Warrnambool Sunday. But I'm going to be tired Monday, and I don't want to tip anyone into anything.
Okay.
They're going there for a reason, unfortunately.
Dad just texted asking about the horse. Is she going well?
I'll
Filly?
email her.
Yeah, okay.
He loves email.
yeah.
He doesn't like texting too
She's
much.
9 hands, David. Thanks so much for joining us on Layback with Betfair. We'll be back in 3 weeks' time, boys. We're going to have a fortnight break.
Yeah,
Are we?
Yeah, we are.
News to me, Biff.
Yep.
Biff.
Enjoy. See you later.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.